Imagine waking up, looking out your window, and seeing a thick red cross freshly painted on your neighbor's door. That mark is a public declaration that everyone inside is already dead or soon will be. To understand how London reached this point, you have to look at the 1660s urban environment. The city was a labyrinth of overcrowded slums where the narrow streets functioned as open, flowing sewers. This concentration of waste provided the perfect habitat for black rats. These rats carried the fleas that introduced an invisible biological threat directly into the city's most vulnerable neighborhoods. The disease struck with terrifying speed. Victims developed sudden high fevers, agonizing dark swellings, and death within hours. The combination of extreme urban filth and a pathogen that no one understood left Londoners completely exposed. With no known way to stop the spread, the population was defenseless against an invisible killer stalking the streets. The first attempt at defense was flight. The king and the nobility used their wealth to flee to the countryside, effectively abandoning the poor to face the infection alone within the city walls. With the elite gone, the mayor of London implemented a strategy focused strictly on containment. Guards were ordered to seal entire families inside their homes if a single member fell ill. Whether you were infected or healthy, you were locked in from the outside and left to wait. The Red Cross functioned as a government-mandated seal on a premature tomb. These administrative efforts failed. While the wealthy relocated the problem to the countryside, the city's lockdown policies turned private homes into sites of unavoidable slaughter. As the death toll skyrocketed, a terrifying new figure appeared in the foggy streets of the city, the plague doctor. Doctors operated under the miasma theory, believing the plague was caused by inhaling poisonous air from the city's rotting waste. Their bird-like masks were functional tools to combat this vapor. Doctors stuffed the long beaks with dried flowers and spices to filter the smell of death, and they used long wooden canes to examine patients from a distance. Despite these elaborate scientific defenses, the doctors were ultimately powerless. They were treating a bacterial infection as if it were a bad smell, and they possessed no actual cure. This chart shows the scale of that failure. At the peak of the outbreak, 7,000 people were dying every week, forcing the city to dig massive, anonymous pits to bury the dead. By the time the plague subsided, an estimated 100,000 Londoners, nearly a quarter of the population, had been wiped out. The medical community, much like the government, could only offer the illusion of control. Humanity was simply waiting for the disaster to run its course. The arrival of winter slowed the infection, but any hope for a recovery was short-lived. The very next year, London faced a second apocalypse. In 1666, the Great Fire of London broke out. Over 4 days, an uncontrollable wall of fire consumed the majority of the city's wooden buildings. In a deep historical irony, the fire succeeded where medicine and lockdowns had failed. It incinerated the filthy, rat-infested slums that served as the plague's primary reservoir. This map shows the geographic extent of the destruction. The empty white blocks along the north bank of the Thames represent the total removal of the diseased architecture that had enabled the outbreak. The Great Plague proved that our attempts at control are often fragile. Ultimately, it took one devastating act of nature to stop another, revealing the limits of human intervention. If you were trapped in a city under these conditions today, what would your survival strategy be? Let me know in the comments. If you want to explore more dark chapters of history, subscribe for the next episode.